Oh,
Jackson will do it. Please. No, we are here.
hi.
We are
Welcome to the Crafty Boy. Thank you. Welcome to the show, which of course is endorsed by Greta. Thank you very much, Greta, with our new, currently under construction, beer entertainment center park thing, where the animatronics will love you to death. So, I don't even know what we're doing. Why are we here? What do we do here, boys?
Oh, I think drinking beer has something to do with that.
Yeah.
What? All right, so. I'm gonna go get some because I realized I don't have my beer.
All right. So while Shane's getting his beer, Dave, why don't we start off with you, just for something different? What are you drinking tonight?
I was going to say.
Well, because you're so new, just because you're so new to the West Coast. So tell us.
I'm new to the West Coast. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that bit.
No, you're not new to the West Coast. But tell us what you're drinking.
All right, we got this shit going on here.
Ooh,
Jamaica ginger beer.
Wait a minute, what's that? What?
Jamaica ginger beer? Is that what that is?
It's a legit import, boys.
Properly looking like it's going to taste badass.
Well, I certainly hope so.
It's even got the 65p.
Yeah, right.
On it, right?
65p's. I'm not sure what that means. Like, do you have to pee 65
pence,
or is that? I don't know.
Is that 65 pence?
Do you have to pee 65 times?
Jamaica probably still uses pence as a diminutive currency. I would think.
Sorry, pesos?
I have to say, I love me some ginger beer. Ginger beer is awesome. Do you guys remember Save On Foods back when it first opened here in Victoria? They had like a bulk pop thing. Like you get these empty 2-liter bottles and you just go and fill it up with whatever you wanted. And they had ginger beer there and it was amazing. Anyway, sorry to steal your thunder there, Dave. Tell us.
No thunder. It's all good. I'm just trying to remember what you're talking about, and I don't know if I ever saw that, or did I? And just
you're new here, so you're a newbie. As you finish telling it, so you wouldn't have known that from probably 1986 or whatever.
That's true. I was out in the sticks at the time. Okay, there's actually some shit to read here. Established in 1988. Old Jamaica Ginger Beer is a genuine Jamaican brand made from the potent, flavorful roots of ginger. A sip of old Jamaica Ginger Beer embodies the same natural flavors that Grandma would have infused in her homemade ginger beer. Drops, cakes, and cookies. Oh, sorry. So all that shit gets gingery in it. It is an amazingly refreshing and crisp as it is unique and original! Exclamation points. Old Jamaica Ginger Beer brings good Jamaican vibes when enjoyed anywhere and anytime. So we got the Jamaican going on here, boys.
Mm-hmm.
What is this? To tune up the flavor, tune up the fire. Hey, TUN. I'm just saying what it's got here, guys.
Yep.
There you go. Naturally flavored carbonated beverage. This is a good thing. So, what is widely recycled? Okay, that's interesting. I don't know if you can really see that. It says widely recycled on it.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yep.
I guess that's...
What does that even mean?
I imagine they have standards for recycling. I imagine that probably means they conform to those standards.
Yeah, like, okay, produced... Yeah, boys, this is a legit import. Produced in the UK. So it actually does...
Jamaican ginger beer produced in the UK.
Okay, so
genuine Jamaican ginger beer made in the UK.
There you go. Produced in the UK by Refresco, Citrus Grove, Sidley, Kegworth, Derby.
There better be like a little Jamaica or something.
Mike, no, look, there's a proper large Jamaican community in England. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, right.
Sugar trade and all that. Yeah,
that's what it looks like.
Nice.
Looking, although, wow, the color.
Very white.
Well, it's not even close to that. It's not. I don't know what's going on. The color is completely funky. It's got more yellow going on than this. It's not as, this looks, I don't even know what I don't know, whatever.
What you're saying is the camera vision is not representative of the yellowness of this beverage.
That is correct.
Okay.
No, it's not. We're not talking radioactive, but it's definitely got a yellow.
Yeah.
Nice yellow flavor.
Yeah.
Nice yellow flavor.
Try the flavor. How is it?
That is nice.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Yeah. Good. When I get a new ginger beer, I do get a little concerned because I can't handle too much spiciness, and you know how some ginger beers just kind of,
I look for that, but what you're saying is if that's something you are not up for, then this is maybe a little bit more. What's the Clement?
Clement. I have to admit, I don't know the meaning of that one, but it's more chill. It doesn't have the bite that you might have with some that I've had. They really do, they can kind of knock you flat, actually, ginger wise. This is not like that. It's definitely more chill. Doesn't have a huge bite, but the ginger is there. You're getting your ginger on. There's no question, and it's good. I mean, hey, I can't.
How sweet is it?
It's actually a little sweeter than others I've had.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm not sure.
But Dave likes the sweetness.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. Okay, so it's just sugar. Oh no, it's got sucralose too. I thought I could taste something a little different in there. But no, I would say I would do this bad boy again. I can't remember what I paid for it because it is an import. So
65p.
65p's. Yeah, what's that? Multiply that by 400 times. That gives you the Canadian dollar.
I don't know.
Good question.
Anyways, all in all,
this show is not about math.
All right, cheers.
Definitely not.
Alan has spoken. Locke, what are you drinking tonight, sir?
All right. So tonight, I am drinking an Amsterdam brewery product. Now, we've talked a little bit about Amsterdam Brewery on this program before, I believe. They are one of the older craft breweries in Toronto. They are properly a Toronto brewery. They're not adjacent to Toronto. They're not Brampton or some Scarborough sort of a thing. They are Toronto Central.
None of those suburban places.
So, Amsterdam Brewery, their Big Bad IPA is darker than most of what you normally see, certainly for West Coast IPAs, and for that matter, East Coast IPAs. It's not a hazy. What it is really a sort of a dark IPA. And that's their sort of go-to, IPA product. It's called Bone Shaker.
Which you've actually had on the
theme of
before.
bones. Their Imperial India Pale Ale, which is what I am sipping upon this evening, is called Fracture. It's at 9% per volume.
Wow.
Let me see. Fracture Imperial IPA returns with a new look. Still the same bold and hop-forward IPA that is double dry, hopped with intense aromas. Expect big citrus and pine flavors with layers of stone fruit. Please drink responsibly.
Sounds interesting.
Contain barley, may contain wheat. We're not sure. So maybe like those factories where there's almonds in this, so there might also be chocolate and sesame. Don't know. We don't know if there's wheat in this beer, but there may be. What there certainly is hops and lots of them. It says on the tin, "All hail the king of hops." This is what it looks like. Sort of like the Bones Brigade skateboard sort of looking guy, but is this the king of hops? Only somebody out east would make such a claim so flippantly. Hoppy though this is nothing like Green Flash's Imperial IPA. This is not. This is not the Green Reaper. I'm trying to think of other seriously dry hopped badasses out there. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, now that said, for a beer this far east, is this a hoppy beer? Yes, this is a hoppy beer. This is very hoppy, and very boozy. That's about what I have to say about it. Beyond that, is there any characteristic worthy of comment? Is it notable for other features? Not really.
No. Not really?
Not really. No. I mean, I'd love to be able to tell you that there's some unique flavor here that I've never tried before. Some horizon that they're approaching. Nah, not really. Yeah. I mean, it's your hop domination. Right. I mean, to their credit, it isn't one of those ones where it's like they knew they'd fucked up and so they needed to add extra hops to somehow be able to make it a saleable product. No, it's not that. It's just hoppy and strong and good. Admittedly good, but it's not really unique or anything like that.
So I'm not getting that you would buy this one again, Luck.
I wouldn't go out of my way for it. I mean, look, there's so much else on the market right now that I mean, put it this way, I don't, aside from this show, have all that much opportunity to go around drinking a lot of beer like the way I maybe used to. Like, in my current lifestyle, basically, if I'm drinking beer once a week, I'm going to be trying something new every time. So no, I wouldn't be trying this again. But if I were out there in the mix and I saw this on tap somewhere and it was sitting next to Sierra Nevada, yeah, I might do this.
Yeah.
Fair.
All right.
I don't know how drunk I wanted to get. It's 9%.
Yeah. I've never tried Sierra Nevada.
Say what?
I've never tried it.
Of the seminal brands that spread the early gospel about fucking hoppy West Coast beers. Not that Nevada is exactly on the coast, but you see what I mean. Yeah, no, Sierra Nevada, they were champions at a time when this was still let's say a contentious proposition that craft beer was the way forward, right?
Right.
Yeah, no, you should definitely have a Sierra Nevada. Here's a story about Sierra Nevada, so there was a time when craft brewing in North America was mostly about trying to remaster and trying to re-understand European craft styles, right? And sort of to bridge over to that knowledge, we did all kinds of experiments, one of which was the Northwest American IPA. And Sierra Nevada were, I think they were sometime in the 80s. I'd have to double check to make sure, but I think they were following closely on the pioneering heels of Spinnaker's and that wonderful place in Portland,
Yes.
Rogue.
Rogue, yes.
It
was on the tip of my tongue. All right. Shane, what are you drinking, man?
I don't know, man. I just
You'd be the same thing as me.
Yeah, I would hope so. We are drinking. Oh, geez, I hit my microphone. We are drinking black cherry stout from Russell Brewing, and it's going to be a very interesting experience because actually, who knows? I know nothing about it.
I don't know why. I think it'd just be an interesting experience because it sounds so good.
It does sound good. So Russell Brewing, of course, is the first brewery that was established exclusively on the moon, and it's got to be a winner. You know, with all this stuff being brewed in very low gravity. I mean, you know, it's got to be a beer that's going to be amazing, right?
How do they do ABV when the gravity's so low?
That's a very good question.
So Russell Brewing is actually in Surrey, British Columbia, which is pretty close to the moon. A little ways off.
The season of the stouts is upon us, and our brewers wanted to go and add a delicious and fruity twist to the everlasting style. A rich tapestry of dark malts and a mild hop bitterness, and a full body complement the tart and bold addition of black cherries. Brewed, of course, yes, by Russell Brewing in rocking in at 5.7. What? 5.7. It's still listed as strong beer. Is there a new strong beer?
Where was this brewed? This was brewed in British Columbia?
Yes.
Yes.
Remember, British Columbia has breweries like Moon Over Water who were doing 4%ers.
Yeah.
It does smell like cherry, slightly, not a lot. I'm really getting a heavy malt tone in my nasal passage. But here we go. I gotta say right now, the malt is just beating the crap out of the cherries.
Yes.
I can barely taste them. Like there's a hint.
There's something there. There's something there. I don't know if it's cherry necessarily, but there's something there that's fruity and tart. But it's very, very slight.
You know what's really funny,
I would only say that it's cherries because it says
it on the bottle
label.
Well, it's funny you say that because, you know, every so often I will collect a common quote from people here on the show. And you said there's something there. Normally, that's something Locke says. A little bit of something there. Like this is a common phrase that Locke you use. But Alan has definitely been.
I'm glad to know that I'm invading your mind, Alan.
Yeah, that's great.
And of course, Dave constantly wants to rule us with a championship. But yeah.
So, what do you think of this, Shane? Would you okay? Would you get it again?
Probably not, because if I was going out to get a stout and I wanted cherries as the as part of it, then I would probably seek other choices because I don't know, did my tongue get punched yesterday and I've lost all sense of taste? Maybe, I guess. No, that's sense of smell. But yeah, I mean, this is the thing. If I wanted a beer that had a strong flavor of something other than malty, hoppy goodness, this would not be it because it's not the malt is really overpowering. This is the thing, is once you start into that territory, it's like they didn't use enough, like of whatever they threw in. Here's the thing: if you were to make a beer properly, you would take cherries, mash them up into a pulp, and you would brew them so that the goodness comes out of them. But this to me kind of feels like they just made the beer and then thought, hey, you got any of that sun-ripe dark cherry fruit punch? Yeah, let's throw that in. Like, which is a fine choice if you want to try that. But
maybe they put in like cherry Dimetap into it or something.
I used to love the grape flavored Dimetap.
Oh, me too. That stuff was awesome. It was like candy.
It's like, I feel ill. Why do you feel ill? Because I need,
Oh God, Yep.
But this, I agree with Shane. This, I would not get this again. Nothing against Russell Brewing.
It's disappointing.
It is disappointing because the cherry is very, very slight, almost non-existent. And as far as like a stout goes, I've had way better. So this one's going to get a big thumbs down from me.
Oh, wow.
I give it a thumbs down too, because I really wish that we had more going on, which is unfortunate because when you walked in the door a few weeks back and said, I have beer for the next 4 weeks, I'm like, excellent. And then it was sadly disappointing.
Yeah.
So guys,
okay,
question. If somebody, like, if they gave you a mug, whatever, with this beer in it, I know this might be kind of a tough one because you know exactly what it is, but if they just gave you the mug and said, here you go, boys, give her a swig, see what you think.
Now, question,
consider it,
is it free?
Yeah, they just gave it to you to drink. There wasn't any. Yeah, there was no exchange of funds. Would that change your mind about this one? Would that,
It wouldn't change my. I mean, I'd drink it, but it wouldn't change my mind about it.
Right.
Yeah, I mean that's the problem, is that if the cherries were to flow over my taste buds to the point where I was amazed, maybe, or even if it was like 50% more, like that's the thing. If it was even 50% more, then I would be much happier. But
here's the thing: in a world where there is such a thing as creek beer,
yes,
there's beer made out of cherries.
Yes, which we had on the show not too
having a
long
beer
ago.
that's a little bit cherry flavored. Why would you do that?
Fair question.
And it is a good point. And the thing is that this beer, I mean, stouts I find to be quite flavorful. This thing is like bland.
Okay,
like,
so
can you say that about a beer? Can you say a beer is bland?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, I think that's valid. I'm open to the idea that beer can be bland. I'm having had at least one Coors Light in my life. I totally understand how.
You know what? I would almost rather drink a Coors Light
because it's more honest, isn't it?
Well, I think it just has more flavor to it.
Well, that's an interesting point. So
not good flavor, but flavor.
So backing up a moment. A few weeks back, I was talking about a beer that I've never drank on this show. I had one in advance of the show, and frankly, I had to bring it up because it was actually really. I don't know why. Maybe it's the next one I should do or something, because I've talked about it on several episodes now. But it's the Collective Arts cherry pie.
Okay.
Or cherry pie sour is what it was. It was a cherry pie sour. And the genius of it was that it tasted like cherries right up to the point of the finish, at which point it tasted like graham crackers. So it didn't just taste like cherries. It wasn't just a creek. It wasn't a cherry beer. It was a cherry pie beer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what you're saying is that this does not do that at all. What you're saying is that this isn't bold cherries and bold malt. This is, I taste the malt and somebody threw a bit of cherry food coloring or something like that in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like if this was bread, this would be Wonder Bread.
Yeah, I guess so. Maybe.
Does Wonder Bread do a raisin Wonder Bread? I don't think they do they?
Hey, does
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think they do.
I wonder if you could brew beer with Wonder Bread.
Oh, I bet that's a project that somebody's going to try.
Now,
I would hope
there
so,
is such a thing as beer bread. There is totally a beer bread is a thing. Using beer as part of the mash or the malt or whatever, the fucking, you're throwing it all in.
The wort. The wort.
Whatever you call it.
Wort.
Yeah, no, that does happen. People do that. But doing one explicitly based on Wonder Bread, what would be the point? I guess.
Yeah, I know exactly, right?
This would be one of those things and it's too bad Julian isn't listening because he would get really, really angry for my mentioning them. This is one of those things that East Van would do, right?
Right.
But no, it'd be like cultural then, wouldn't it?
Right.
Yeah, I don't think you can even accuse Wonder Bread of being bread.
Bread. Yeah.
It's it's a white mass of whatever
Stuff
they've used.
That never goes bad.
No.
It doesn't get moldy or anything.
That's the most disturbing thing.
They probably use the same guns for styrofoam pellets, only it's shooting a slightly different mix.
Yeah. It's the kind of stuff that they give to the astronauts. That and Tang. That's if you're an astronaut, that's all you eat when you're in space. It's Wonder Bread and Tang.
Oh.
That's like just the grossest thing ever.
Yeah.
I bet Jello pudding pops are a big deal up there.
Really? Why?
I'm trying to think of why.
It's an anti-gravitational way of eating pudding. I'm sure that's effective.
Do they still make Jello pudding pops?
Fuck, I have no idea. I
doubt it.
I suspect the brand got Titanic by old Cosby there, but
well, no, I think it's been gone for like a long time, since like the 90s.
Yeah, no, I mean, I have no idea what I don't have kids, so I would never buy them anyway. Like,
I do, and if I saw those things in a grocery store, I'd buy them, and I have not seen them since I was a kid.
Oh, what? Yeah, but no. But Alan, knowing you, you'd buy them and frame them.
He's right. Oh, I love my retro
That's so
stuff.
disturbing and awesome at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh, Peanut Gallery. Did you get any? Hear.
I'm interested to see what the Peanut Gallery has to say about this beer.
Peanut Gallery,
After
when you
we've
have
ripped it
tasted
to
the beer, we
shreds.
would like to hear your review of it. The Peanut Gallery is also listening to a podcast, so they're not speaking aloud.
Okay. Yeah. Podcast on what?
I do not know.
Okay, fair enough.
I shall interrogate. What podcast are you listening to?
Mine.
You like? Wow, she likes it. Hey, Allie, Allie.
Hey.
Alan.
She likes it.
Oh my god. Just every time I say your name like that, I always think of that scene of that unfortunate Jurassic Park 3 where the character of Alan Grant is on a plane and he falls asleep and he wakes up sort of in that mode between sleep and being awake, and there's a velociraptor sitting next to him on a plane going, Alan! Alan! So
Everybody I ever meet.
I have a vague hallucinatory memory of something about television where some fucking child was sitting there shouting, do I have these words right? Hey, Mikey, he likes it. And I don't know what
that's a Life cereal commercial.
It's a Life cereal commercial. Who was Mikey and what happened to them?
Well, he was a kid and he grew up.
Okay, was Mikey the fellow bully that was picking on the kid that was eating the cereal, or what was that?
No, Mikey was the little.
Mikey likes it. Did Mikey? Yeah. Do I remember that?
Yeah.
Fuck, I don't know. Jesus.
So, people at work all the time, whenever anybody wants to get my attention, you know that old video with the gopher going, Alan, ow. Yeah, so that's what everybody does. Alan, ow. Oh, maybe that's Steve.
Have you punched anybody yet?
No. No, that's frowned upon in an office.
Yeah, punching people is generally not so. What kind of work environment do you work in there, Dave?
You don't even get 3 strikes.
Fortunately, I work on my own.
It's like you do it once and you're gone.
Especially these
meanwhile, Dave's like, I'm so confused. I punch people all the time like that. I don't understand why. So here you go. Ow! Ow! Alan! Ow! Ow!
Is that Groundhog Day or?
No.
No, it's actually, from what I remember, it's footage from a BBC documentary about something, and it's one of those documentaries that's done by David Attenborough, and they're talking about something, about whatever the documentary is talking about, and then there's this gopher or groundhog or whatever the hell it is, just making noise, like warning sounds or something.
Yeah.
But if you turn off the sound, it looks like some stupid animal going, Alan!
And then there's another part where it's like he's calling out to somebody. He goes, oh, maybe that's not Alan. Maybe that's Steve. Steve!
Oh.
There's this moment in the not exactly blockbuster Hollywood film Virus, whereby a space virus, computer virus, takes over a boat and things become robotic and go but in a viral computery way. And when one of them takes over a human carcass and picks it up and has it walk around and do evil robot things, it tries to pretend to be human and it fails. And the way it fails is that it approaches its fellow humans as Steve. And then after it becomes absolutely clear that this is no longer the appropriate human response, Steve. And if you've ever had, experiences with, really like bad drug trip kind of people on the street in the middle of the night, the words Steve are sort of code to your fellow compatriots who are dealing with this person that, it's time to leave now.
Dave!
Steve!
Dave!
Dave!
Is Dave home? Dave's not here, man! I just pictured Dave, pounding back a few of the ginger beers and then, banging on somebody's door at 3 a.m. going, hey, it's Dave, let me in. Actually, Now that I've said that out loud, I did that in Germany once, or not in Germany, in
Doesn't even know where he was.
I was in Vienna, and I got really drunk, and could not remember where the hell I was staying, because it was one of those nights where it's like, oh geez, I should probably go back to that dorm that I'm crashing. Oh my god, it's 3:30 in the morning. You know, those kinds of moments. And and so traveling across to wherever the hell I was, and banging on, I could not remember I was intoxicated. I could not remember the door buzzer number, so I just started like pressing them all until eventually somebody let me in. And I remembered the floor and the door, and they left it open.
What year was this?
98, I think.
Okay. Yeah. So it wouldn't have been a situation where it would have been natural for you to buzz yourself in with your phone or something.
Oh God, no. I was in a foreign country. I don't think I even had a phone with me. I'd left it back in Canada, right? But I mean, accessing email was problematic. You had to like go to the library and log into wherever the hell you were at.
Log into your Freenet account and
exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember that. That was the same night that I made the stupid mistake of asking the Austrian on my right what the difference was between him and the German to my left.
Oh dear.
And that was
a poor conversation starter.
It started out as them discussing, and of course all of us had been drinking, and of course then I asked some question like, well, I've heard you say whatever the word was, and he's like, well, that doesn't mean what that means. And I thought, oh, okay. And then the German was explaining to me what the word meant, and then the Austrian was like, well, no, you say it this way. And then it was like, yeah. So they shouted at each other for a while.
Tomato, 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 tomato.
Pretty much. But it was unfortunate. I'm glad I left when I did. Yeah. Those were the days. Back then. And I don't remember paying for that beer I drank that night.
Oh, no.
I have no memory
like
of that
Interpol's after Shane all these years.
Yeah, really. It's like UVic. I got a parking ticket in a UVic parking lot in like 1995, and then I forgot, ignored, didn't care, whatever, and then in like 2005, like a full 10 years. No, it was later than that, because I remember it was over 10 years old. Anyway, I had a completely different car, but I had the same plates, and I parked my her students were performing or something at the university, and I actually got a parking ticket, but it wasn't like a parking ticket because I'd paid for parking, but it was a penalty reminder that I owed the university money for parking. So I called. They said, yeah, no, you have a $21 fine for whatever. I'm like, when did I get a $20, park? Oh, in whatever date it was in 1995. And I'm like, are you kidding? That's more than a decade ago. Are you really? It was so stupid. So at the time, I actually had a musical theater friend who worked there, who ran part of the security department, who oversaw the stuff, and they just killed it. But yeah, it was so bizarre. Yeah. So bizarre. But yeah.
At least they didn't put a boot on your vehicle.
Could you imagine? UVic doesn't have that amount of power. They're just a whittly little university.
I think they have the power to tow at a minimum.
Oh, of course. But actually, you know what? I have a question. Universities, of course, for the last couple of years, have been having issues delivering their classwork to students. And now they are insisting that people start returning to classes this year, this particular semester, in person. But there are some universities that are wanting simultaneous delivery of classes in the classroom, but also available as a live stream online. Acceptable?
So that students can choose one or the other.
Choose whether to
Here's the
go.
thing. Until they start teaching, real world curriculum, why should there be real world participation?
Well, and this is the thing, is that in the news, there's a lot of universities saying, oh yes, well, of course, we will be supporting the people doing this by supplying tech staff to, manage live streams for professors and things like that in the room. But then there's also the smaller universities that don't. They just want you to turn on a webcam and go. And I can't help but think that if students these days, for the past, 15 years, treat their university experience more like a transactional thing. I'm paying you money and I am a customer, therefore I require this, that, and the other thing. Does that actually... Actually, I'm going to pause. Locke, you obviously have something to say.
Oh, yeah, I'm making that gesture, am I not?
You are. I'm bringing you on here.
Body language, and this is totally key because it really is. Only something like 30% of the communication are the words. The rest of it's demeanor, body language, that kind of thing. Where I was going with this, I have entirely forgotten because I'm sufficiently boozed up in this 9% beer that I'm drinking. I actually have no idea what I was about to say next. It might have been something relating to what Shane was talking about. I don't know because I honestly can't remember. Shane,
Insightful commentary.
What were you talking about?
From Locke. That's awesome. My opinion.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. I mean, who cares, right? I mean,
I think maybe I was floating around something relating to universities and the way they don't any longer work. I think there's something deeply ironic about the fact that the movement to greater student centrism at universities rather than curriculum centrism or even faculty centrism. It's now all focused on the students. Why? Because at some point in the 90s, and I'm going to say early 90s, the idea caught hold that a university is really, it's a business. And so really a business is about serving the customer. Who's the customer in this relationship? Well, obviously it's the students because they're the ones paying the money. And so the idea is we need to attract more students to gain more money. And so we should make our curriculum and our beliefs and everything about our organization coherent with and perhaps even subservient to that other drive. And so if you were going to do that, then, you need to figure out, what do the students want? Well, actually, if you were actually dealing with the customer in terms of who paid, you'd be concerned with what their parents want. But that's not the way it played out because for all of the pretended competence of universities, their marketing departments are not necessarily the best. And so instead they tried to appease the students. Well, what do the students want? Well, the students grew up with a bunch of people who failed at everything else in life and so became school teachers. And what do those kind of people teach? They teach socialism. There are people who went into school teaching because they actually cared about education and because that's what they really wanted to do. And I don't have anything bad to say about those people. Those people are gems. Whenever you run into one, be thankful because they are rare. But I've got to be honest with you. There's a lot of people who go into teaching school as a kind of a fifth column for the goddamn communist manifesto. it's a dead issue in the East. They're happy with just plain old totalitarianism. Fuck the commune. Fuck the, no, you don't have an expectations because you towed the line. Fuck you. We'll genocide your ass and call it progress. The simple fact is, when you look at the move towards trying to turn universities into commercial instruments that deal with the customer, which we presume, as I've said, is the student. And so we're trying to pander to them because they haven't been pandered to enough in the last decade, right? The same decade as helicopter parents followed on to a decade after we introduced this idea that universities are just about serving the customer, right? And so the same kids that grew up with the idea that everybody's kissing their ass, now the universities are kissing their ass because the universities think of the customer. Here's the grim fact that everybody's been ignoring, is that the students, and for that matter, their parents, are not the customer, because most of the money comes from the government in this country. And so if you were to actually ask yourself in a real way, who is the customer? The customer is the government of Canada. And is the government of Canada benefiting from these douchebags fucking teaching critical theory about spaghetti and whether or not it's got a racial bias? Fuck's sake. Like, is spaghetti cultural appropriation? Is it culturally appropriating the lives of Italians and miserably forcing it on the rest of us for no reason? Is that what spaghetti is? Should any of us is the word spaghetti offensive because, worse, macaroni, right? Stuck a feather in his cap and called it macaroni. What is macaroni? It's Scots pretending to be Italians. That's what macaroni is. It's cultural appropriation. It is, isn't it?
All right, we have to start a movement to take the fucking macaroni off the shelves, boys. This is bullshit.
Greta would approve. I'm sure. But what about, okay, so Locke, yes, you are right. But what about, like, say my parents? My parents got, good paying jobs right out of high school. They didn't need to have a university education or anything like that to get into, a fairly decent job. Nowadays, you can't even flip burgers at McDonald's without having a master's in food, whatever. There's all these sham
food values,
whatever, and I'm exaggerating. No, you do not need to have post-secondary education to flip burgers. But I mean, to get into a lot of jobs out there, like say my job, now you have to have a certain number of post-secondary courses in order to do it. When I first started, you needed a high school education, and that was it. Now, a high school education isn't enough to get the same job that I got out of high school. And the same deal was with our parents. What about all that? I mean, I think that's a bit of a sham.
Well, that's what happens when you successively award increasingly inflated grades for a nominal effort, with accommodations.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Everybody has to have a post-secondary education these days. So, of course, yes, it becomes like a business because everybody has to have it. You're not going to get a job anywhere.
I don't think that's actually true anymore, Alan. That was true before COVID, maybe even up until the middle of it. Today, find an employee, good luck.
I kind of agree, because I think one of the side effects of COVID has been that workers realize that they have more power than they thought they did, and en masse. I'm not saying individually.
Actually,
potentially,
no. Actually, I disagree,
No?
Shane.
No?
En masse,
How so?
I don't think their power has changed very much at all. I think where it's changed is individually. The en masse part, actually, I don't think has shifted a whole lot one way or the other. Where the supply chain's failing isn't with the grunts who are doing the basic work. It's supply. I mean, the problem is that you need people with sufficient competence to do math and to be reliable about staying on time with things in order to make supply chain work. And that's where things are failing. That's where critical staff are becoming so rare that when you've got one, they want to work from home. Yeah, okay, you work from home. You want a special thing in your contract that says that you get some kind of
a donkey every Wednesday.
Profit share is fine. Yeah, profit share is good. Yeah, we're doing profit share. You want to be able to you want to be able to say bad things in public about protected minorities. No, can't do that. That's not on. But short of that, every fucking other thing you can do. Piss in the aisles at Safeway? Yeah, sure, go ahead. Yeah, fine.
I got a clause in my contract.
Make sure the tomato sauce shows up on time and you're there.
I'm picturing somebody going over the contract they're about to sign, yes, I see here that I have to have an empty bottle with me while stocking the shelves in all of the rows. Yeah, can I ixnay that clause about the bottle? Can I just piss on the floor wherever I want? Oh, I can? Okay, perfect. I can just see that level of detail going on.
Somebody with glasses on the end of their nose is going to be talking about that. Yeah. Oh, I see. Yes, that's what I want to be able to do.
Commie bastards. I like Ike.
If we were actually talking about Safeway, they would just say wet mess on aisle 5, and they would hand it to somebody who's too early in his hiring procedure to be union. I'm not saying that ever happened to me, but
it only happens to Dave.
Totally.
Yeah.
How
do we recover?
I got a stroke right now. It just happened. I totally lost now. I got my booster. Did I tell you that already?
Yes. Well done, sir, actually. Of the people I know who had... So, to be clear, I have had COVID, but not really any symptoms.
Oh.
I've been...
Just recently? Like today?
No. Like over the last 2 weeks. My father tested positive. I tested positive afterwards. But no symptoms, and I don't know what to make of that, except that either it was a false positive or I caught it, and having had the booster, did not have any dramatic symptoms. People I know who've had 2 shots, who have caught this Omicron thing, have said that it's like a really bad flu.
There was a story that I didn't read it actually, but it was posted recently about a mother from Souk who I guess her son, who was unvaccinated, died recently from COVID.
Well, I mean, a friend of mine whose wife is the principal of a young kids school, kindergarten, preschool, grade 1, that kind of thing. said a couple weeks ago that, or no, last week, sorry, a bunch of kids showed up and they were coughing and hacking, and they sent them home because they were obviously ill. And now his entire family has tested positive for COVID, and they're ill. They're it's like they have a bad cold, but they're all sick now. And I couldn't help but thinking, like, how do you send kids to school when they're obviously sick?
Because they're thinking old world. It's like, suck it up, and no, the things have changed. If you have anything, you stay home.
And that's the weird thing. Like, I don't quite. I mean, it just seems like a really poor
Parenting choice
on the. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like it's because now there's an entire school that's shut down because a whole bunch of people got sick from it because a couple of parents were, I don't know, morons.
Well, what happens if like one of the kids that goes to school there gets it, takes it home to their parent, and their parent
that's exactly what
parent
happened.
Works at like say like a care home or something like that.
Exactly. Like it's really poor choices based on people being arrogant fucks.
Yeah.
And that's it. I'm taking over the world. You guys ready to be to help me rule this world with an iron? Oh, wait a minute, Dave. I'm sorry.
Has to be a pillowy soft dictatorship.
I'm just totally overriding your entire.
I have to ask,
so Dave,
what is the quote you have for me? What do I say? I'm almost afraid to ask. You? I say that?
Barely. The other one I dare not show that I have for Dave.
So what do you say the most, Shane? You obviously have a quote.
I have not put a quote in for myself. So, well, because I shouldn't be the one to choose one, right? It should be you guys.
Wait. So how does this feature work? Somebody suggests a phrase and then it looks for it?
No. I just add it in as a graphic, right? So give me a quote, Alan. Give me a quote. Dave?
A Shane quote. Right.
Sorry, this is for you?
Yeah, so give me a quote.
At the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
what Shane says.
I'm there. Yeah, I see it.
All right.
At the end of the day.
There we go. At the end of the day.
There we go.
Oh, and also after Chernobyl, my penis fall off.
What? There you go.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Well set up there, ready to go.
All right.
I'm out of beer.
Me too.
All right then, boys and girls. Thank you for tolerating us for yet another week where the 7,824 people that are watching tonight.
That's it?
I know we've dropped low. I don't know why. It's weird. Dave, lose your shop. Lose your shirt. Take off your top. Let's do this. Let's get that viewership higher. But anyway, thank you all for watching, and we will of course be back next Wednesday where we will drink more beer and talk about more crap. So, Alan, as always, take us out.